Hello, WMB kids, and welcome to our baptism curriculum. This month, we are going to be learning all about baptism. What does it mean? Who should do it? Why should we be baptized? We're asking all those questions and many more. You know, maybe this is the first time you've ever heard about baptism. Maybe you've heard about baptism many times. Maybe your parents have talked to you about it. Maybe you've been upstairs in big church and seen a baptism, but wondered, why are they doing this? Why would they want to go underwater and then be brought up and be all wet? Are they just going swimming? Is there more meaning to this? Maybe those are some of the questions you have asked. Well, this month we're going to be learning all about baptism, and maybe if we should even be thinking about when we want to be baptized. So that's where we're going. But today we're going to dive in and start off learning a little bit about a man in the Bible named Saul who turned to Paul. Have you ever heard of Saul, aka Paul, before? We're learning about a story about how Saul was not a very nice person. In fact, he was hurting a lot of other people and he was not following Jesus, and he was living his life for himself. But he had this big experience and he met Jesus. In fact, he met him in a surreal experience. He was traveling down the road and he meets him, and all of a sudden there's a flash of light and Jesus appears and speaks to Saul and calls him to follow him. And after some time, Saul actually goes blind, but then he discovers Jesus and he can see again, and he becomes one of the greatest missionaries to ever spread the good news of Jesus. And when Paul found Jesus, one of the first things he did was repent, which is a big word. Have you ever heard of that word before? He repented from his sin, which means he said that he was sinful, which means he was broken, he had done those bad things, and he was sorry for doing so. And he repented of his sin and he believed in Jesus, and then it says that Paul was baptized. And we are going to watch another video in just a minute that explains a bit more what is baptism and why would Paul be baptized after he followed Jesus? Why would he follow Jesus and then the next step be baptism? So as we watch the video, I want you to take note of our big idea today. And that is, baptism is a declaration of our faith in Jesus. Have you ever heard of that word declaration? What does that mean? It means that baptism is when we proclaim our faith in Jesus. And when Paul got baptized, he was proclaiming that he believed in Jesus. So we're going to watch our next video, and then we're going to dive into our lesson, where we dive into what is baptism. And all this month, we're going to be looking at baptism and all the questions that you might have. Stay tuned.